This is the last page for review for exam 3. The U.S. import of wine in hectoliters for several years is given. So we have data here, and you're going to be given the data as well. This is the information I received when I entered the data in my calculator. I entered 1992 as 0 to represent the beginning of the data. You need to know that once we start answering questions. The first question is, what is the line of best fit? Well, they gave it to us right here. Y equals AX plus B, where A is this number and B is this number. Okay, let's start with that. And yes, I'm going to write these numbers, all of them, because that's what's represented. All right, so my f of x is equal to 154.8699095. I do not ask you to do this part on the calculator. I mean, on the exam. I do not believe 0.514706. It's kind of, you should already know that's the line at this point. All right, so there's my line of best fit. What is the correlation coefficient? Well, that is the 0.369, 0.369538486. Interpret the relationship based on the correlation coefficient. Now, I always like to think of it as there's 0 and there's -1 and 1. If it is closer to 0, that means that it's going to be weak. If the correlation coefficient is positive, it's weak, but a positive relationship. If it is negative correlation coefficient, it is a weak, but negative, relationship. If it's closer to -1, that is going to be a strong, it could be in between the two. If it's closer to 1, it is strong. The negative would be a negative relationship. And if it's closer to 1 and positive, of course, it would be a positive relationship. Okay. In this case, it's closer to 0 than it is 1. I always think of the 0.5 as my halfway mark. So it's going to be weak and positive. So interpret the relationship. It's a weak and positive relationship. Assuming the trend continues, in what year will exports exceed 12,000? Well, we need to know what the y-intercept or what the initial value was. The initial value or the initial part was 1992 was our 0. So we need to find out, okay, in what year did imports exceed 12,000? Well, this is going to be our f of x is 12,000. And we need to find the year. The years are always going to be time. Subtract this number from both sides. I'm just going to put that in my calculator instead of writing the whole thing out. 12,000 minus 3601.514706. And I got 8398 points is equal to 154.8699095x. Now we just need to divide both sides by this number. So divide that by 154.8699095. Just because I didn't write it down doesn't mean I'm not going to punch it in my calculator. And I got 54 years. Okay. I don't care about the decimals. That looks like it happened in probably February. So 54 plus the initial year, 1992. So in 2046, this is a word problem. In 2046, the imports will exceed 12,000 hectoliters. All right. The next line is using the line of best fit. How many imports would there be in the year 2026? Well, we take 2026 and subtract 1992 when the first one happened. 34 years. So f of 34 is 154.8699095 times 34 plus 3601.514706. All right, let's put that in the calculator. So times 154.8699095 plus 3601.514706. 8867.09. Let's stop right there. What is this question again? How many imports will there be in the year 2026? There will be. Give an answer with the sentence. There will be 8,867. I'm not going to use a decimal because does our data have decimals? No, it does not. So I'm not going to provide decimals. So there will be 8,867 imports. Is it hectoliters? How many imports will there be in 2026? There will be, okay. Yes, hectoliters of imports in 2026. Okay. Next question is the answer for D, which is the year one in 2046, and a representation of interpolation or extrapolation? Well, do we have 2046 within our domain? No, we do not. So that's extrapolation. And all you need to say here is this is extrapolation. Extrapolation because 2046 is not in our domain. All right, so I do have a question about this one. Is 8867 interpolation or extrapolation? I know this is a question, but I'm curious. So let's look at our data. 8867. Our range. Oh, there's 8487. Yeah, it's in between these two. So yeah, this one, the 8867 is an example of interpolation because the 8867 is within the range. And that's how you would answer that one if I were to ask you. Next is find all zeros and fully factor. We've got x cubed minus 2x squared plus x minus 2. Find all zeros. So we're just letting our y equals 0. What do the first two have in common? X cubed minus 2x squared. So x squared leaves me with x minus 2. This one already has x minus 2, but they're assumed 1 out front just so you can create that, because you have to look at these two terms now and see what they have in common. They have x minus 2. And when you factor x minus 2 from your first term, you're left with x squared. When you factor x minus 2 from this term, if you didn't know the 1 was there, you can't, ignore it and think it's 0 because then x minus 2 wouldn't be here. So it's plus 1. We cannot factor the sum of two squares. So set each of these equal to 0 and solve. Add 2 to both sides. X is equal to 2. There's one of my zeros. Subtract 1 from both sides. X squared is equal to -1. Take the square root, positive and negative on the constant side. X is plus or minus I. So there are our 3 zeros. Okay, done. And it's a cube for a degree, so we're done. Is x plus 4 a factor of? Okay, so synthetic division here. Is x plus 4 a factor of x to the 4th plus 2x cubed minus 6x squared plus 2x minus 24. Now, you have to take that x plus 4 and set it equal to 0 and solve for x. Subtract 4 from both sides. And you're going to take that -4 and synthetically divide this polynomial. Take the coefficients of each. First, make sure that they are in order from highest exponent to constant. 4, 3, 2, 1, constant. Then put your coefficients. 1, 2, -6, 2, and -24. Start with bringing down your first coefficient, 1, then multiplying -4 times 1 is -4. Add 2 and -4 is -2. multiply -4 times -2, it's +8. Add, you get 2. Multiply again, -4 times 2 is -8. Add, you get -6. Multiply again, you get +24. And that gives us a remainder of 0. So that's not your answer. The question was, is x plus 4 a factor? And then I ask you to show your work. This is you showing your work, but now we have to answer the question. Yes, x plus 4 is a factor. All I need you to do, answer the question and then show your work. Last one. Woo-hoo. F of x is equal to 3x squared minus 3x plus 2. When f of x is divided by x plus 2, what is the remainder? Well, to find what we're dividing this synthetic division by, we set it equal to 0 and solve for x. So x is equal to -2. I'm just going to synthetically divide by -2. Make sure my terms are in order from highest exponent to constant. 2, 1, constant. Put your coefficients. Bring down your first term. Multiply -2 times 3 is -6. Add -9. -2 times -9 is 18. Add, and you get 20. This is your remainder. So this is our answer. When it says, what is the remainder? You can say f of -2 is 20, or you can say the remainder, I'll get it in there in a minute, is 20. Either one is acceptable for answers. That's it for the review. There were other things I added to it. Hopefully you made it to the in-class review because there were some things that I covered. All right, good luck on the exam, guys. Let me know if you have any questions.